Previously in the Ape Escape review marathon. Christmas 2016, exactly 4 years ago. A mysterious present appeared back at my old house. The tag attached to it warned me not to open the gift, but curiosity got the better of me. Contained within the packaging was a monkey who proceeded to escape the premises. I thought nothing of it and proceeded to complete Ape Escape 2, the game that I was playing at the time. Unfortunately, the monkey reappeared and led me into the woods, capturing me with my own monkey net. Christmas 2018, exactly 2 years ago. I had been captured by the monkey for 2 years, despite it only feeling like seconds had passed. The monkey appeared on a TV and forced me to complete the despicable task of completing Ape Escape 3, which would earn me my freedom from the confines of the room I was trapped in. True to its word, the monkey then let me out, but seeing my chance to set things right, I used my monkey net and the skills I had acquired from Ape Escape 2 and 3 to capture it and set things right. Unfortunately for me, a further 2 years have now passed, and the monkey is after its revenge. Oh god, not you again. Why must we go through this nonsense every 2 years?
Me.
No. You wouldn't dare.
Me.
Oh, that's horrible. I can't believe you just threw your poo at me. That's disgusting. Oh. He's gone. Well, I guess I'll just carry on playing Rayman then. Huh. Well, I guess now I'm playing Ape Escape. Hello, Merry Christmas, and welcome to the Pixel Pursuit 2020 Christmas Special, where it's finally time to complete the trilogy of Ape Escape games by going back to where it all started. Ape Escape 1, which was released in 1999 for the original PlayStation. So the question I have going into this is, how does it compare to its sequels, and is it worth going back to today? Well, let's pop it in and find out. The first thing you need to know about Ape Escape is that it's a bit difficult to actually play nowadays. I'm sure that with enough fiddling around you could potentially get it working on an emulator, but PS1 emulation has always been pretty hit and miss in my experience with it, so I'm not sure if this is the ideal way to experience it. The obvious way of playing it would clearly be to put it into an original PlayStation console, but doing that would force you into using standard composite cable output, which wouldn't be the best picture quality for modern TVs. This brings us to the PS3, which outputs video with a HDMI cable, and is almost completely backwards compatible with PS1 games. But of course, Ape Escape is one of the few PS1 games that outright doesn't work on a PS3. You can get to the main menu, but then the controller doesn't do anything. You can't even select new game to begin playing, so that option is ruled out. Bear in mind I have the PS3 Slim model, so maybe it works on other models, but I can't test that out for myself. I normally record PS1 games through my trusty PS2 and have never experienced any backwards compatibility issues. Plus, the PS2 outputs video with component cables, making the picture quality much better on modern TVs. But of course, Ape Escape happens to be the one PS1 game that doesn't work on my PS2. However, a workaround for this is to dig out a PS2 Slim where it seemingly works perfectly. So I guess the backwards compatibility is better on a Slim model. Who knew? So as far as I'm aware, this is the most optimal way of playing the game on official hardware. Now all that's out the way, let's actually start playing the darn thing. Ape Escape opens with an intro cutscene showing us a white monkey called Spectre putting on a helmet created by the Professor as an experiment to increase intelligence in whoever wears it. Obviously, this leads to a monkey revolution, and Spectre leads an army of monkeys away from the amusement park where they were kept captive, and they head to the Professor's lab where they activate a time machine which allows them to go back in time, alter history, and make monkeys the dominant species of Earth. Yeah, the plot of Ape Escape gets pretty wild pretty quickly, but I personally love how absurd of a premise it is, and there is actually quite a big threat coming from Spectre which drives the action forward throughout the game. After all, you are trying to stop the extinction of humans and the rise of monkey kind. So obviously the way the Professor and his assistant Katie want to stop Spectre's evil plan is to send a 10-year-old child into the time machine to go back in time and capture every last monkey one by one, while also facing all of the threats featured in every time period he visits. This game series really seems to love child endangerment, huh? Luckily, the 10-year-old child we take control of in Ape Escape is no mere boy and is in fact an anime kid with bright red spiky hair who's imaginatively named Spike. So, off we go! Wait, why am I not moving? Oh, of course. Ape Escape actually requires the use of a DualShock controller, and using a standard stickless controller like this one will result in you not having access to even the most basic of movement options. So, if you want to play Ape Escape for yourself, make sure that you have one of these beasts. The gameplay here is pretty interesting and to this day remains pretty unique. Every level in the game is quite open and explorable in an impressively non-linear way. You could quite easily finish some of these levels without having seen huge chunks of them, thanks to the way that the levels split into different paths and also offer secret areas to find too. Just like any platformer, the objective here is to get a certain number of collectibles, thus ending the level and unlocking the next level to play. Then after finishing 3 levels set within a certain theme, you move forward in time to the next level theme. The spin that Ape Escape puts onto this pretty standard formula though is that the collectibles aren't just mere objects, but living, breathing creatures in the form of the monkeys. So in Ape Escape, the main enemy of the game is also the main collectible. The monkeys are given so much personality too, being placed in unique situations where they're interacting with their environment, doing stuff like riding on a T-Rex's back, climbing up walls to get away from you, or simply swinging above you on some monkey bars. Then we also have the humorous monkeys, who will basically just be going about the day doing stuff like playing games in an arcade, which actually makes me feel kinda bad for capturing them. The monkeys aren't all pushovers though, because later in the game we're introduced to monkeys with different strengths, which are determined by the colour of their shorts. So the ones with black shorts are aggressive and carry weapons which they'll try to shoot you with, the blue ones can run extremely fast, the green ones are probably the most difficult, being obsessed with gadgets and using missile packs and bombs against you, and of course, there's loads more on top of those too. While the monkeys don't sport different outfits like they do in the later games, I still feel like they have so much charm and character even in this first game, and it's obvious why they became so popular at the time. Their AI is actually pretty impressive at times too, and you have quite a few ways of interacting with them in order to get the upper hand, but we'll talk about that later. For now though, remember how I said Ape Escape was the first game to require the use of the DualShock? Well, because of that, the controls in Ape Escape are a bit weird. You use the left stick to move, the right stick to operate the different gadgets in the game, R1 to jump, and the D-pad to rotate the camera. It's a pretty strange control scheme I have to say, but you know what? After a little bit of adapting to it, it's actually extremely good and feels completely natural. Honestly, I don't think they could have done a better job with mapping these controls, and the way the game uses the right stick in several gimmicky ways really makes this game stand out. So let's talk about the gadgets here then. We have the Stun Club, Time Net, Water Net, Monkey Radar, Slingback Shooter, Super Hoop, Sky Flyer, RC Car, and Magic Punch. And while that's quite a lot of gadgets to wrap your head around and use throughout the game, another amazing thing about this game is that all of these gadgets are actually really good and utilised to great effect throughout the adventure. Now, breaking down every single gadget would take far too long, but I'll just mention a couple of my favourites before we move on. So firstly, the Time Net is probably the gadget you'll be using the most, because this is how you'll be capturing the monkeys. Simply flick the right stick in any direction and Spike will swing it there, which actually gives you a great degree of control because you can move in one direction while swinging the net in another direction. The Monkey Radar is perhaps the most helpful gadget in the game because it basically detects where a monkey is in 3D space and then beeps louder the closer you are to the monkey. By pressing L2 you can even get a close-up of the monkey with lots of information about its stats, its name, and a short description about its personality too. Some of these names and descriptions are pretty funny too, so it's always worth doing this just for a laugh, as well as it being genuinely helpful, showing you exactly where the monkey is located, as well as what type of monkey it is as well. The last gadget I'll talk about is the Sky Flyer, and the reason I want to talk about this is because it's my favourite gadget in the entire series, effectively giving you not only a triple jump, which is activated by spinning the right stick after your normal double jump, but it also allows you to glide if you continue spinning the stick after the jump, and it's just so goddamn satisfying. In Ape Escape 2 and 3, they actually ruined this gadget by making it stop your forward momentum as it lifts you up, which makes it feel clunky and unsatisfying. Whereas in the first game, you keep your momentum as you lift up, and it feels great. Also, it just looks cool. So here's the thing with this game. The reason it's so goddamn good, and in my opinion severely underrated, is because when you combine everything we've talked about so far, it's a game that encourages experimentation in a way that I don't think has ever been matched by any other platformers, maybe aside from Super Mario himself. You have all of these different gadgets giving you so many different options for navigation, combat, and getting the upper hand on the monkeys, but then you also have all of these monkeys with different strengths requiring different strategies that are placed in different positions and in different situations within the levels. And despite on paper being repetitive, just doing the same thing over and over again in every level, it never becomes tedious because the way in which you accomplish that same thing, that being just capturing monkeys, is so varied. It's genius. For example, you could choose to simply run in and quickly net a monkey, brute forcing your way through, but with tougher monkeys, you'll probably get hurt by them if you try to do this. So then you could try and sneak up to them with the rudimentary stealth system and snatch them that way. Or you could utilise your gadgets more and use the RC car or slingback shooter to stun them from a distance and then run in with the dash hoop to catch them before they get up. Using all of the skills you have access to in a chain like this and it feeling so quick and responsive to pull off is simply incredible. Especially for the time when 3D games tended to feel pretty clunky. Honestly, I could go on about how good this capturing mechanic is for ages, because it actually is pretty complex despite being easy to grasp when you're actually playing through it. Just know that the combination of gadgets with the variety in level design and the monkeys themselves is some top tier game design, and more importantly than that, it's just straight up fun. Now, you might be thinking, wow, this guy really likes Ape Escape, and you'd be right to think that. But that isn't to say that I don't have any negative things to say about the game. So firstly, let's talk about something that's bad about the game, but kind of in a good way, and that's the voice acting. I mean, just listen to how it amplifies the drama happening in this scene.
Listen, I'm going to beat you. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Why? Why is Buzz there? And what's happened? You're totally different. Buzz, pull yourself together. Can you hear me?
It's no use, Katie.
Yeah, at times the voice acting is very, shall we say, PS1 quality. And what makes Ape Escape particularly weird in this department is that the American version of the game features totally different voices for the characters, as well as certain characters having different names too. I have no idea why they chose to do this, but clearly, the European version is better, and I'm definitely not just saying that because it's the one I know and love.
It will be so easy to conquer the world. The view is great too. Don't you think it's really great?
Are you out of your mind?
It will be so easy to conquer the world. It really is perfect, isn't it?
What are you saying? Are you out of your mind?
Yes, I have to catch Spectre.
I'm going to... Oh, ouch.
Buzz, why don't you return to the lab and help the professor? You are hurt and it may be dangerous if you don't have any of the professor's gadgets.
But... Okay.
Yeah, I've got to catch Spectre. I'm going with you. Ouch. No. It's better if you go back and help the professor. You need to regain your strength. The professor will need your protection.
But...
Okay.
Still though, I actually kinda like the stiff voice acting, and like with a lot of PS1 games, I feel like the strange acting kinda matches the rough look of the graphics, and gives a lot of PS1 games a really distinct identity that I've come to love. A more genuine issue with the game is that it doesn't run very well at times. It sometimes drops frames when a lot is happening on screen, and understandably, this is probably due to it pushing the PS1 hardware to its limit. Graphically, the game is really impressive, and most of the themes are totally unique and offer new gimmicks which make them stand out. The only exception to this is the first two level themes, the prehistoric era and the Cenozoic era, which kinda feel exactly the same. But other than that, I like the themes presented here, even if they're nowhere near as imaginative as Ape Escape 3's. The primary issue with the graphics is that the draw distance is pretty damn bad, and you can constantly see things loading in the distance. This not only breaks immersion, but also causes a problem where there could be a monkey dead ahead of you that you simply can't see. So because of that, it sort of causes this over-reliance on the monkey radar. But still, at least because you have the radar, you aren't left completely in the dark. So it's not too bad in terms of the actual gameplay, it's just the visuals that are affected by this, really. There's also not many boss battles in the game, which is kind of odd considering you'd think they'd want to test your skills with the gadgets you obtain throughout the adventure. I suppose there are certain monkeys and enemies which could be considered mini-bosses, and there are the races against Buzz, or Jake if you live in America, but these aren't really boss battles per se. The actual boss fights in the game are with Spectre right at the end. But before we dive into those, I suppose we should take a look at the events in the story that lead up to that point. Throughout Spike's adventures through time to capture all of the monkeys, he's constantly contacted by Spectre, who taunts him and has brainwashed his best friend called Buzz, and is forcing him to work against us. Towards the end of the game, Spectre is actually successful in taking over the world in the present day, and monkeys are running rampant across the city where Spike lives. We infiltrate Spectre's hideout in a local TV tower and destroy his battlecraft in a boss battle, but Spectre escapes and kidnaps the Professor and Katie and heads to his real headquarters at the transformed amusement park which he escaped from at the start of the game. At this point, the stakes are actually pretty damn high. Spike's friends have all been taken from him and the world is falling apart under the control of Spectre. So he goes into the amusement park and rescues each of his friends who are being held captive in different areas of the park, which by the way is easily the best level in the entire game, having a cowboy area, a roller coaster, a haunted house, a circus, and a go-kart area all in one single level. It's so cool. We then go to the main part of the amusement park, which is a big castle, but it lifts off into space, taking Spike with it. Because of course it does. You can't have a showdown against an evil monkey mastermind without going into space. So after another massive level featuring the most difficult platforming sections in the entire game, you finally reach Spectre, and this is where the boss battle against him begins. This battle is actually pretty good as well, having two different phases, one taking place from the perspective of a big robot head that Spectre is controlling as Spike dodges lasers and gets close enough to hit it with his stun club, and then a second phase where Spectre destroys the floor with missiles while also continuing to shoot lasers and spawn more enemies. Damn, this boss is actually pretty great, and it makes it all the more strange that there weren't more battles like this. They clearly could make a good boss, so why not have more? Anyway, after beating Spectre, he actually escapes again for like the third time at this point. This time though, nobody has any idea where he's gone, so the Professor works on pinpointing his location as you backtrack through every single level all over again to get the monkeys that you either missed or couldn't get on your first visit due to not having a particular gadget at that point. Now, this is maybe where a lot of people might be put off of the game, because it just sounds like padding having to go through every single level all over again, right? But as I said before, a lot of these levels will have lots of areas that you didn't even see on your first visit, so it's not really like you're playing the same levels again at all. And plus, it's so satisfying revisiting places and finding areas you couldn't reach before, but now being able to navigate them with the use of all of your gadgets. Speaking of which, you also get given a new gadget here called the Magic Punch, which is basically an upgraded stun club which allows you to break certain walls, allowing you to take shortcuts through the longer levels. While for the most part this backtracking is handled really well, I do feel like there's a couple of levels which really didn't need to have you backtrack through them and should have just have allowed you to get all of the monkeys on your first visit. Some of the later levels just have a monkey placed in an unbreakable box that you can only get into with the Magic Punch, and it just feels a bit cheap. There's no need to have you do every single level again when the monkey you're missing is just placed so pointlessly like that. But I do admit, this is nowhere near as much of a problem as I remember it being in Ape Escape 2 and 3, so at least there's that. Another thing that you might want to do at this point is try and get all of the Spectre coins that are a collectible that are actually unique to this game and weren't present in Ape Escape 2 or 3. These are basically your standard hidden collectibles, and by finding a certain number of them, you'll unlock a mini-game to play in the hub area. My issue with these collectibles is that you don't get anything for getting all of them. Like literally, there's no reason to get all of them, and you might as well just stop at 40, which is the amount you need for the last minigame. Why didn't they make it so that there's another minigame that only unlocks after getting all of them, or at the very least make the third minigame only unlock when you've got all of them instead of 40? It's really weird. After getting all of the monkeys in a level, you also unlock a time attack mode where you can replay levels with all of your gadgets and with all of the monkeys back in the level, and the objective here is to get a certain number of them as quickly as possible. It's an awesome mode which adds a lot of replay value, but again, just like with the Spectre coins, I don't think it unlocks anything. I can't say this with absolute authority because I didn't get all of the gold medals to achieve true 100% completion, but from what I've read online, there's no 100% reward. which really is a bit of a shame and kinda devalues the time attack mode as well as the Spectre coins too. But anyway, after getting all 204 monkeys in the game, the Professor finds Spectre's location and you go to capture him once and for all. A completely unique boss battle ensues, which isn't quite as good as the one where he's in a robot, but it's still really cool to see a unique boss here. Even the Crash Bandicoot games didn't have unique boss battles for getting 100% completion, so to see it here in Ape Escape is pretty impressive. Anyway, you beat Spectre and finally get to capture him using your net, and the game then ends with a short cutscene showing Spectre returning to the amusement park and reuniting with the zookeeper, who he was previously implied to be missing. So the animals are once again in captivity, and your job here is done. The moral of the story? Always keep animals in cages. Wait, that doesn't seem like a good message to be sending out. Maybe the moral of the story is instead just don't pursue any higher intellect or try and broaden your mind in any way. Wait, that doesn't sound right either. Look, just don't become an evil time-travelling white monkey, I suppose. I feel like I've been talking about this game for ages now, but before I wrap things up, we need to talk about the 3 minigames on offer. Something really cool about all 3 of these is that they're all playable in multiplayer, which to be honest wasn't necessary at all, but is a really nice added bonus that makes them a lot more enjoyable. The first game is Ski Kids Racing, and the kids part is spelt with a Z because it's that cool. This is pretty good actually. It's just a racing game with 3 different courses, and you use the left and right analog sticks to control each of your skis in order to turn corners and move faster. It's pretty darn difficult to win though, and the best I could do was come in second. I didn't try for that long though, to be fair. The next game is Spectre Boxing, and this one is easily the worst of the bunch. You use the left and right sticks to control your monkey's arms and have to time your guarding and punching to knock the other monkey out. The issue here is that I couldn't get the controls to be accurate enough, and it felt like I was constantly missing my punches despite moving the sticks straight forward. I ended up winning the first 3 matches by just spamming a right hook. This one actually bored me quite a lot, and like I say, it just felt like it wasn't working properly. The final game you unlock is Galaxy Monkey, and this one is quite good, but very bare bones. It's basically just a twin stick shooter, once again using the left and right analog sticks to make you move and shoot respectively. While it starts off quite well, it quickly becomes boring, being far too easy for its own good and eventually repeating the same enemy patterns over and over again, basically resulting in it offering very little content. It could have done with a lot more enemy variety, maybe different level themes to mix up the visuals, boss battles to really test your skill, and maybe even a versus multiplayer mode. But I guess it is only a minigame at the end of the day, so I can't expect too much. But then again, Metal Gear Solid from Ape Escape 3 is only a minigame, and that was absolutely incredible, so maybe I should expect more. Either way though, this game as a whole is absolutely incredible. Not only do you have the first main playthrough, but then you also have a second New Game Plus style playthrough where you do every level again but with all of your gadgets to catch all of the remaining monkeys. But then you also have the time attack mode, which acts as an optional challenge if you want to go for 100%, and then on top of all of that you've got the 3 minigames, which are not only just interesting to check out, but also offer some multiplayer action too. That's an insane amount of content right there, and it took me 9 hours to get through it all, and that's not even including the time attack mode because I only played a little bit of that. So, in total, you're looking at around 11 hours of content if you're going for 100%. And the amazing thing about this is that it never ever became boring or tedious and remained a blast to go through from beginning to end. I'm putting Ape Escape in 2nd place in my series ranking. To be honest, with me having played the other games in the series so far apart from this one, I'm a little bit hazy on whether this ranking is 100% accurate. I definitely think Ape Escape 2 is the worst, mostly due to the way it implemented new gadgets which added nothing to the game. Ape Escape 1 is simply incredible all around and is easily among the ranks of the very best PlayStation platformers like Crash or Spyro. But Ape Escape 3 is probably the best, and this is due to it having far more unlockables with its store system, the most interesting level variety, more boss battles, way better graphics and visual design with the monkeys having more personality than ever, and the new transformation mechanic to that game being the cherry on top. Oh, and the gadget quick select was a really nice quality of life improvement too. Basically, Ape Escape 1 set the amazing foundation, and Ape Escape 3 built on everything from that. That is, apart from the Skyflyer, that's still the best in Ape Escape 1. So, would I recommend that you play Ape Escape 1? Absolutely, it's a must-play PS1 game, and it's one of the most underrated and underappreciated PlayStation franchises in my opinion. There's so much more I could have talked about here, like the absolutely amazing soundtrack created by Soichi Terada, which is not only incredible, but it gives the game an electro-driven vibe which suits the theme of time travel so damn well. It ends up giving this game in particular a really distinct feel that's arguably actually better than the sequels. There's also the really cool hub area where you can access different rooms with the minigames, level select, save data options, a monkey register, and gadget tutorials, which is amazing and acts almost like a more immersive version of what could have just have been a simple menu. There's just so much going on here, but rather than me rambling on anymore, I urge you to play it for yourself, and if you've already played it, play it again. Why not? And that's Ape Escape. It's taken me 4 entire years to get around to reviewing this trilogy of games, so I hope you've all enjoyed the videos. I also hope you appreciate the fact that each of these Ape Escape videos have released 2 years apart from each other to the exact day. That's something that took quite a lot of forward planning. But I do have to wonder, what happened to that white monkey that disappeared on me a while ago? Me, 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 me.